What are diminished scales in jazz? Have you ever wondered how jazz musicians create that unique sound that keeps you hooked? One of the secrets lies in something called diminished scales. These scales are symmetrical 8-note scales, also known as octatonic scales, that alternate between half steps and whole steps. There are two main types of diminished scales: the half-whole diminished scale and the whole half-diminished scale. The half-whole diminished scale starts with a half step followed by a whole step, and this pattern repeats. On the other hand, the whole half-diminished scale begins with a whole step followed by a half step, also repeating that pattern. Because of their symmetry, there are only 3 unique diminished scales, and each can be transposed by minor thirds. Now let's talk about how these scales relate to chords. The half-whole diminished scale is often used over dominant 7th chords, also known as V7 chords, in jazz. This scale adds a distinctive diminished sound, introducing tensions like the flat 9th and sharp 9th. These tensions create a rich color in the music. Meanwhile, the whole half-diminished scale fits well over fully diminished 7th chords. In this scale, every other note corresponds to the tones of the diminished 7th chord, while the notes in between serve as leading tones that resolve to the chord tones. For jazz guitarists, diminished scales are a fantastic tool for improvisation. They help add chromatic tension and create smooth transitions in solos. When improvising over dominant chords that resolve down a 5th, the half-whole diminished scale offers a wide range of altered tones. The whole half-diminished scale is particularly useful for playing diminished chord arpeggios and passing chords. Since the diminished scale repeats every minor third, it allows 4 interesting symmetrical patterns and licks that can be easily shifted across the guitar fretboard. This makes it a favorite among guitarists looking to spice up their solos. Historically, diminished scales have been part of the jazz vocabulary for many years. Renowned musicians like John Coltrane have used them to create complex and tension-filled musical lines. These scales are often referred to as modes of limited transposition because their symmetrical structure limits the number of unique transpositions. This contributes to their distinctive sound and their role in jazz harmony. So, diminished scales in jazz are these symmetrical 8-note scales that alternate between half steps and whole steps. They are essential for improvising over dominant and diminished chords, providing unique tension and resolution possibilities that jazz musicians love to utilize.